Okay, so when I say the phrase sustainable university, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it solar panels on the roofs? Maybe recycling bins everywhere? Yeah, those are definitely part of the picture, but today we're going to explore what it truly means for a university to be sustainable. And let me tell you, the answer is a lot deeper and frankly a lot more challenging than you might think.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? For so many years, the whole conversation has been about a university's environmental footprint. But what if that's only just scratching the surface? What if real, lasting sustainability requires something much, much more fundamental?
You know, the UN's Sustainable Development Goals give us a pretty big clue here. See, sustainability isn't just one thing. It's this complex, interconnected web of social, economic, and ethical challenges. So for a university, this means it's not just about being green. It's about becoming a whole new kind of institution.
To really get what this new kind of institution is all about, we have to first look past that traditional and honestly kind of limited idea of just creating green campuses.
So what's really interesting is that over the last 20 years, this whole conversation has been quietly evolving. It all started with this common view, right? All focused on things you can easily measure, like energy consumption, waste reduction. But today, a much deeper reality is taking hold. That true sustainability is a full-on paradigm of institutional transformation. We're talking about rewiring a university's entire culture, its ethics, and its whole system of governance.
So this new, deeper definition is taking shape in some really interesting and concrete ways. It's moving away from being just a nice-to-have goal to becoming a core principle of the institution itself.
Here's how modern research is defining a sustainable university. It's an institution that weaves ethical governance, digital transformation, and participatory learning right into its DNA. It's not a side project anymore. It's not some separate office down the hall. It's absolutely central to the mission and the very identity of the university.
And look, this didn't just happen overnight. You can actually trace the evolution. Back in the early 2000s, the focus was super narrow, campus ecology, things like that. Then, by the 2010s, it shifted more towards operational stuff, the recycling programs we all know. But today, we are in a completely different era. It's a multidimensional paradigm that forces us to think about governance, social responsibility, and the university's role in our digital world.
Okay, so with this new transformative vision in mind, a recent study went out and analyzed how 81 universities around the world are actually defining sustainability in their official documents. And the findings? Well, they're pretty revealing.
On paper, a lot of universities use this incredibly inspiring language. They talk about a commitment to these huge ideas like empowerment, systemic change, and having a future-oriented vision. I mean, it sounds exactly like that deep transformative model we've been talking about. And it's not just a few of them. A whopping 72% of the universities studied use this exact kind of visionary language in their official statements. So they are, without a doubt, talking the talk.
But, and this is a big but, right? Does the focus of their actions actually match up with those inspiring words? When you really dig into the details, what are they prioritizing?
Well, the data tells a pretty clear story. The focus is really heavily weighted toward those traditional pillars. Environmental themes totally dominate, showing up in 67% of definitions. That's followed by economic themes at 58%. Meanwhile, those deeper, more structural elements like social responsibility and especially governance, they're lagging way, way behind. And this chart just lays it all out. This is the core finding of the research right here, a massive gap between the vision and the operational reality. While the environment is a major focus for 2/3 of universities, a mere 16% explicitly mention governance. This is the vision-reality gap, and it is holding back real progress. So why does this governance gap matter so much? Because governance is the university's operating system. It's the how. It's the rules, the structures, the processes for making decisions, for ensuring accountability, and for driving real change. Without strong governance, all that visionary language, it just stays language on a website. So to bridge this gap, a new model for the university is needed, one that puts that operating system right at the center of everything. And researchers are proposing exactly that. They call it the Learning Ethical Digital Governance-Based University. I know it's a mouthful, right? But every single one of those words is critical. It describes an institution that is literally built to learn, to act ethically, to embrace digital tools, and is founded on rock-solid governance. This new model is built on 3 core pillars. First, there's a conceptual shift, moving away from just managing resources and towards creating a culture of deep ethical transformation.
Second, a governance pillar that embeds real accountability and uses data to make smart decisions. And third, an innovation pillar that uses technology to make sure these changes actually stick around for the long haul.
In practice, this completely reframes sustainability. It stops being a checklist of things to do and becomes part of the university's actual identity. It's not just a target to hit, it's an engine for innovation. It gets anchored in real accountability. And maybe most importantly, it becomes a core part of how everyone on campus, students, faculty, everyone, learns and thinks.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, the priorities become super clear. For governance, it means you've got to align sustainability with your existing quality assurance systems and data monitoring. For education, it means weaving these concepts into the curriculum across all disciplines, not just environmental science. And for innovation, it means building a digital culture that actively supports these goals.
And all of this brings us to the final thought, a really powerful distinction that the research makes. Is a university simply building a green campus, focusing on the visible stuff and the easy wins? Or is it truly building a sustainable future by transforming its culture, its governance, and its very identity? That's the question every institution has to answer now.